relatives has medical training, believe it may be presented to us yesterday morning. We've worked with our partners in forensic science yesterday, and we suspect that that bone is a human bone, which is relatively recent.
Rubbish.
It's believed the victim's body had been dumped here hours after he was murdered, 20 kilometres
to death with a 40-kilogram concrete owl in her Murray Bridge home in February last year. The attack occurred without any lawful justification or excuse. There were repeated blows to the head with considerable or severe force. And by the second blow, your intention was and continued to be to kill rather than simply to inflict grievous bodily harm.
It's the worst thing that I've personally gone through.
Major crime detectives has formed on the remote area of the state's mid-north after receiving new information in the hunt for young girls, Joanne Radcliffe and Kirsty Gordon, who disappeared from Adelaide Oval more than 4 decades ago. Police reporter Ben Avery has the details. Ben, has anything been found?
Well, Brenton, no, not yet, but search isn't over and police have vowed not to give up. Earlier this week, around 30 officers converged on a property at Yatman, around 40 kilometres north of Jamestown. They say it's part of an ongoing search for evidence relating to the disappearance of 11-year-old Joanne Radcliffe and 4-year-old Kirsty Gordon, who went missing from Adelaide Oval in 1973. 2 very deep wells were excavated, but due to safety reasons, officers weren't able to reach the bottom and they may need to return.
Considerable time, effort and money has been spent over the last 12 months attending at the site. And look, I can't rule out that we won't re-attend at that site.
Now, the previous owner of the property is Stanley Arthur Hart, who has an uncanny resemblance.
He'll make it anyway. He's in or out, he's a dead man.
16-year-old Chantel and her parents Rose and Andrew were repeatedly stabbed in their Kapunda home in November 2010. Downey inflicted 112 knife wounds during the
one of Adelaide's cold case killings.
I just hope it was quick.
The daughter of the last witness reveals exclusively why she thinks her dad had to die.
100% without a doubt in my mind.
And for the first time, she walks in his following footsteps 10 years further.
53 years of heartbreak and agony, a mother's nightmare that never ended.
Nancy never gave up hope. She passionately believed that at some point in time her children would return home, that she would actually find out what had happened to them. And it's a terrible circumstance that she died with that hope unfulfilled.
Nancy and Jim Beaumont were thrust into the national spotlight on Australia Day 1966 when their precious children, Jane 9, Anna 7 and little Grant, just 4 years old, didn't come home from a trip to Glenelg. The case became one of the country's most enduring mysteries.
I know many people all over Australia that really feel for us, and well, what can you say at this moment? I mean, we've been hanging on for 9 months.
In her final years, Nancy Beaumont suffered from dementia. She was cared for at this Glengarry nursing home. Jim Beaumont still lives by the beach. Amid countless dead ends and cruel conspiracy theories, the couple chose to live their lives out of the public eye, always hoping for a breakthrough. In 2013, new information led detectives to a factory site at North Clifton owned by businessman Harry Phillips.
Unfortunately, as a result of this, of the dig which we had today, there is no new information found. We have been with the Beaumont family for a while.
Hopes were raised again last year when detectives returned, but it was fruitless.
I think everybody in the community can use their imagination and they'll know the impact this would have had on the Beaumont family.
Major crime detectives remain committed to solving the case.
Police today expressed their sympathy and sadness but chose not to speak publicly on Mrs Beaumont's death. The family too have chosen not to comment.
Nancy Beaumont didn't want the attention in life or in death. Jessica Adamson, 7 News.
Kind person, you know, he didn't deserve what's going on here.
Investigators spent the day at his home gathering crucial evidence. 2 men have been charged with murder. One of them is another of the victim's housemates. Police allege the pair used this Nissan Navara to move the body. We can't identify either of the arrested men. Today the court heard one of them had
Travis Kirshner bludgeoned 54-year-old Sally Rothy to death with a 40-kilogram concrete owl in her Murray Bridge home in February last year. The attack occurred without any lawful justification or excuse. There were repeated blows to the head with considerable or severe force. And by the second blow, your intention was and continued to be to kill rather than simply to inflict grievous bodily harm.
Grooming, he had groomed a young girl prior to this. He had groomed her and he was having sex with her for a very long time at a very young. And do you want to know another thing, Stephen? Vicky's in on this one too. So don't throw anything on Facebook. Do you understand? We have got this. We have got it. The police have been, they're in on it. Okay? We've done something about it today. Your theory is correct. But if you want a fucking knot on the belt...
Rachel Vaughan, your accusations and testimony and all their associated assets, images, video, voice, are in the public domain by your own will. You're not able to put these out there for the world and then not have them associated and discussed with regards to you or have absolute control over the discussion. If you wish to address an individual, do so in private. If you don't address the topics raised in a post and choose instead to divert attention to your personal relationships and other matters, there is little point you providing anything here. You can do that elsewhere, as has been the case to date.
Yeah, Mia was planned to come in, mate. Like it was. And I think.
Well, there was some sort of detective that fucking if he was pretty much in charge of all the Mia cases, and it was said that fucking he pretty much fucking would come bust her, take a portion of your shit just so that he could take you to court if he needed to, or have something to show to the other officers and take it to court.
Yep. But
he would leave you with some. He would also put you on his books. You would start selling for him.
Wow.
Fucking pretty much,
Is that right?
80-20 cut, if that. You get fucking nothing. You basically get to pump it out for him, and you should be happy at that you didn't go to jail. And not fucking 100%.
That's what you heard
it was, but that's what the grapevine had at the time. And it was really funny at the time too, because fucking unless a lot of people were giving up, were giving people up, fucking how did these cunts just stay out? They'd get done and then fucking within fucking days they'd be back up, set up, fucking shots open.
And the hours that.
On April 5th, 2008, Jamie Walker of The Australian reported how Mother Goose stuck pedophile net. He said Bragg Shannon knows Adelaide dirtiest secret. It involves a man called Mother Goose and what happens at night in Veal Gardens, out of sight and out of mind. At 39, with a loving partner at home and his life on track, Shannon counts himself lucky. He survived the sexual abuse he suffered as a child in state care and being a teenage rent boy in Veal Gardens, where he encountered Mother Goose and the pedophiles who lurk in its shadows. Shannon knows Mother Goose's real name. So did the South Australian police. It was forwarded.
Surrendered to police. Instead, he stacked her body in a wheelie bin and fled interstate. It prompted a nationwide manhunt, guns drawn, police searched several properties. The fugitive was eventually captured in Victoria, almost 700 kilometres from the crime scene, and extradited under heavy guard to South Australia. Kirshner's refused to say exactly what happened, but pleaded guilty to murder early, earning him a significant discount on his sentence. He'll serve 18 years, which is below the 20-year mandatory minimum.
We don't think he should have been shown any leniency considering what we heard about his past.
Deanna Williams, 7 News.